What's up, guys? Today's episode was shot over the course of, I'd say, roughly a month or two. I went on vacation, went to Europe, was gone for a couple weeks. But what's happening right now is we got the van pretty much fixed. We are going to be finishing cutting out the old piece. I got the new piece that needs to go in prepped and ready to go. And right now we are gonna get going on a time lapse and cut the bad part out of the van and start welding the new one in. So enjoy. We've got our section cut out. All I need to do is I'm going to clean up all this, deburr everything, get everything cleaned up. And then here's our junk piece. It's pretty mangled and smushed. Rough test fit here, but it really looks like it's going to fit in there pretty good. Alright, well, here we are. We're not too bad on the lines up here. This is going to be a little difficult to try and figure out. I'll probably end up plating this. There's a pretty good gap in between here. Just from where it did get kind of smashed and pushed in. The other side is worse because this was the main side. This side right here was the main side that took all the impact. As you can see, this is still pretty warped, and I did my best to pull it out, but just wasn't happening. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tack all this in here and then build a couple of standoff plates and plate this. I extended this out because you can see that's where it's supposed to be, and it's pushed back here. So I think I'm just going to build a couple of standoff plates here and go that way. So alright, let's get to tacking stuff in. Guys, just wanted to give a little update. GoPro SD card's full, didn't bring a second one. So most of this footage I thought was recording and it was not. But here's a small update. We have a couple of welds already done. Got burned through on that one. But a couple of just small little welds. I've been grinding them down here. Just kind of checking to see. I got a couple little like pinholes in there, so a little bit of a dirty weld. This one also kind of a dirty weld, a little bit of pitting. But I'm gonna, all the seams that I can do right now, I'm gonna weld up, and then I think tomorrow will be our plating and bridging out day. So. Also, I don't claim to be the best welder in the world. This is one of my first welding projects, so we'll see. So what I'm doing here is stitch welding. So I'll lay a bead or lay a tack, weld it, lay another tack, or I'll lay a tack, lay a tack, lay a tack, and then I'll weld them all together by stitching them. So I think I'm doing halfway decent here. I got a little, these kind of brown spots in here are contamination in there. So which means I didn't get the metal clean enough, so I've got a little bit of dirt or some kind of mess in there. You can see here I just didn't even get a good weld there, but just a little bit of that. Like, I'm not sure, this one made like blew a bubble, which was interesting. Not sure what to do about that, but there's a small little update. Now I'm going to grind all these flat and then go at it again. What is up, guys? Back here trying to finish up the welding on the van. Today it's supposed to be, or it's not supposed to be, it is. It's 81 out. I'll scoot back. So it's 81 out, but tomorrow the high is 33 and we're supposed to get 1 to 3 inches of snow. So I really got to finish the van up today, mostly to prevent the rust and the snow from getting in. Let me turn you around and show you what we got. Excuse the wind, but I'll try and block it best I can. But this is where we're at. I stitched that together with some kind of a big boogery weld, because I'm trying to fill as much of the gap as I can. This side here, I'm making block out plates for right now. I have a small little L bracket here that's gonna fit up and go in that little spot. So I'll get you guys set up on a tripod and we'll get going. What's up, guys? Oh, you can't see my peace sign. I am back out here working on the van. Figured I'd give you guys a little update, show you where I'm at. It's going both good. Whoa, lighting is intense. It's going both good and bad at the same time, so about normal. But let me get you guys turned around and I'll show you what we're dealing with. So in the last part, I explained how I was plating all this off. So I've been going through and filling in all the holes and the gaps between the two panels. So this got a fresh panel here, a little filler panel. This got welded together. Kind of finished welding that together and filled in any holes here, and don't mind the pinholes. It'll get a small coat of body filler to fill all those in. This side over here is the really crunch side. You can't really see it in there, but got some booger welds happening. It's really hard to get the tip of the torch in there to get a nice clean weld, but I'll go get a grinding tip for my die grinder and we'll get it all ground down. This here is all solid and now one piece. This was a two-piece filler panel, and this one right here has a flat piece here and then a triangle, kind of a half moon shape that filled in the gap right there. So where I'm at is I need to make one more filler panel for, let's drop that glove for right here. There's a pretty good gap. That one should be pretty easy. And then we'll also have to make these two right here line up, which I don't think will be that hard. But what we're dealing with now is trying to weld the bottom together. And it's so hard to weld upside down is what I'm finding out. And this metal is, excuse that truck I'm laying out in the driveway. This metal is so thin that trying to build a puddle that doesn't like drip, essentially, it's just burning right through the metal because it's so thin, and I'm trying to fill this gap. Granted, it's not a very big gap, and you can see how much it almost was touching right here, but it just kept burning every time I'd build a tack. It would just melt away. So what we're gonna do is I took some, let's see, camera focus. There we go. Also, sorry about the shaky camera. But I took some of my 16 gauge just sheet metal, and I cut a little 1 inch, a 1 inch piece here. And the plan for this is, let me get right back into the van here. We're gonna take this and we are going to just plate the seam like that. And I'll make it look as OEM as possible, but you know, we do what we can. So here we go. I have it all tacked in. Sorry for the shaky camera, I'm laying on the floor. But as you can see, so right here, even while I was trying to tack it, it's starting to burn through. But I got enough tacks on there that it should hold, and I should be able to get it welded up. It is just about the sunset here. So I'm probably gonna end up calling it, but that is, we'll probably end it about right here for now and pick up again hopefully tomorrow. So see you tomorrow. Welcome back. So today the plan is we're finishing the bumper. We are gonna completely have it done today. I have body filler and seam sealer. Those are the last things we need. Yesterday off camera, I did a little bit of work. Let me show you that here. So off camera, I filled this hole in just by stacking a couple weld beads here. And that, it was a very small hole. It literally was 1/4 of an inch. So just stack some weld there. Still not super excited with how in there turned out, but it'll be all right. We are gonna cover it with some body filler so it won't be noticeable. This will get body filled. Over here, we'll get body filled and laid flat. We'll fill in any of these little pinholes with the body filler as well, as goes with up here. And then down on the bottom of the bumper here is where we're gonna seam seal all of our edges and then sand that smooth, because this seam sealer is sandable, and so we'll sand it all down and make it look as OEM as possible. So we are just about to mix up our body filler. So what we're using is Bondo Fast Dry body filler. And so how this works is you open up your can, put some on your mixing palette, and then so what you're gonna wanna do is open up your hardener and then lay just a thin line all the way across your puddle, and then start mixing it and agitating it until it begins to activate. And roughly you have like 3-ish minutes before it really starts to get the chemical process going and begin hardening. let me throw you guys on a tripod and get the time lapse going, and let's jump right into it. Excuse the wind. It has been about 20 minutes since we put the seam or the Bondo on, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out everywhere except for there. I didn't have a spreader to get in there, so I actually just went and made my own. So we'll clean that up, and my plan for this is to make it all one kind of bridge maybe, or just to get it as smooth as I can in there. But we got some here that's pretty much dry. Right here is dry. And then I went and while that was drying off camera, I seam sealed the bottom of the bumper with that little plate that we made previously. So now I'm gonna start sanding this with a 500 grit sandpaper and see what we can do. So we've got everything ready to go. I just went through and took some soapy water and a rag and cleaned everything. And then I went through and wiped everything down with some acetone and got all the grease off of everything. And it is just about ready for paint. I have our paint inside not drying. I have the paint inside warming up in some hot water so it's easy to spray. I have a heat gun here that I am heating up the panel with because it's about 45-50 degrees here. Just want to make sure I can get the most adhesion possible. So without further ado, let's jump into it and get this thing finished. Here's the plan. So I have Rust-Oleum primer and I have some white paint. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start with just a really thin coat on everything, just enough to cover and give a good tacky surface for the next layer to go on too. So here we go. A little side note too that I forgot to mention, anytime you're painting where there's threads for a bolt, you should really put a little bit of hardware in there to keep paint off of those threads and keep it from getting gummed up. So I'm gonna put those in. Luckily I only had done one soft coat, so it shouldn't have gotten in there, and I tried to avoid them once I noticed. Keep your threads clean, keep your threads nice, they'll keep you from having to chase them later. Is on. Last coat we laid was a real nice thick coat on it, and we got pretty good coverage, and I'm pretty happy with it. You can still see that I'm not good at body work. As you can see, you can still see all my body filler points, but through this whole experience, what I have found is body work is very hard. I got a lot of respect for the people that do it. I personally don't have the patience for it, I found out. At least the body filler and sanding part. Welding, I think that's fun, so no problem there. But this is what we're working with. And while we let that dry for about another 10 minutes, maybe 15, this is the color we're using. It's just white Rust-Oleum automotive enamel. Got it at Lowe's, it was like $6. But this is it up against the van. I think it's a pretty good match for not being OEM Mercedes paint and for being $6. So that's what we're gonna use. We're gonna use this. We're gonna hope for the best. And as I said a little bit ago, let's see if I can get to focus. There we go. This is all gonna be covered by our bumper and our weather stripping seal and a top plate that goes over there. And all of that is sitting here in my garage. I've got bumper covers. I've got a step bumper that I might throw on. This is that top plate I just mentioned that goes across the top part of the sill. So none of it will be seen, but I do want it to look as good as possible, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I wish it was, but I'm not that good. All right, guys, paint is done. Paint is dry. I got a little bit of stuff falling on it. So it's dry enough to where I am content with it. And it's dry enough that you can touch it and it's not tacky anymore. It's been probably about an hour. So, but if we take a step back, whoops. If we take a step back and when you look at it, I would say that that paint color was a pretty good match. Pretty good match for only being $6 and just picking a white paint. So this is where we're at. It's not bad. You can see a little bit of where my body filler marks are, which is fine. Again, this is all going to be covered, but nice, good, glossy finish, and it is ready to be put back together. And before I put it all back together, just wanted to show that this is what we started with, and this is where we are now. When we started, we had a crunched and bent up piece that didn't fit, let air and everything get in, and so we went from that to that. And there's Gene. Okay, everyone, here it is. Here is the finished product. The bumper is back on, the cover is back on. Let me close up the doors here. And that is many hours later. The sun is starting to go down. But look at that. Everything is finished, everything is put back together. It was a whole lot of work to not be able to see any of it, so that's good. But bumper's done, that project's finished, and just a little sneak peek, the whole van is insulated. So here we go. Bingo. All right, here guys, just kind of close out this segment of our vlogs. The van is put away, the bumper's back on, everything is together on the outside. All I have left to do is put a wheel trim molding on, and then we are officially done with the exterior of the van as far as like rebuilding goes. So the next things we're gonna do are insulate, wiring, just really move on the inside. That has also been going on in the background while I've been fixing the bumper These have, like, this actual little series has been filmed since the second day we had the van. It's November 14th now. I started the, let's see, I think we got the van on 27th of July. So since roughly 28th, 29th of July. So quite a few months that this has really dragged out and like been going on. I work full-time, Jana works full-time, so these are really kind of just hashing out in the evenings after work and on the weekends. So, but thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for being part of it and watching. We appreciate it. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like. If you feel obligated, please subscribe, as we're going to be continuing on with this process. We already have a lot of stuff planned, a lot of things in the works here, but things are happening. Our plan is to vlog the whole thing, kind of show you guys how we're doing it, as we've never done this before. I used to build houses. I did that for a couple summers when I was in high school. And in freshman year of college, I did it. So I have some like building experience, but never with vans, never like small interior type things that need to fit in things that aren't a square. But so there's that. So stay tuned, stick around. We're gonna video it. We're gonna show you all our way of doing it. Hopefully it's the right way of doing it. But we appreciate you tagging along, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.